Many artists master one creative discipline. Some expand their abilities to two or three. Then there's Gordon Parks, a mid-century Renaissance man best known for his photography, who manifested opportunity and creative excellence in a segregated nation. Born into an impoverished but supportive family in Fort Scott, Kansas, Parks grew up in the 1910s. In his early adulthood, it is said that Parks purchased his first camera in 1937. Well, the rest is history. Throughout his career, Parks' areas of expertise varied from fashion and product photography to daily life of locals in metropolitan areas. It was in 1942 when Parks' life would change, and he would be given the opportunity to capture now iconic moments in history through the Julius Rosenwald Fellowship, granting him a position with the photography section of the Farm Security Administration in Washington, D.C., and later the Office of War Information. Here, he captured moments of the minute to the magnificent of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen, an all-black troop of military pilots who fought in World War II. Pictured here is a P-40 Warhawk fighter jet flown by one of the Red Tails at the Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Michigan. Parks had a striking eye for lines in his composition, as each element of his photos contribute to the larger story, encapsulating the essence of both time and space of a moment. After the OWI, Parks was a proven photographer and eventually got gigs with Time, Glamour, Ebony, and was a personal photography for a myriad of black icons throughout the 50s all the way up to the early 2000s. But before we get to that, here's another example of incredible framing, as Parks photographs a worker through the pipes in Harlem, New York in 1946. Just as much as Parks would photograph cornerstones of black history, he also had a knack for capturing the everyday people in creative ways. In the 1952 Emerging Man project for Time magazine, Parks collaborated with fellow Renaissance man and celebrated author Ralph Ellison. Leading up to Ellison's magnum opus novel, Invisible Man, the pair teamed with Time to release a photo essay that depicted the novel's protagonist and pivotal points within the story throughout Harlem, New York. The shot here is particularly moving and a bit unsettling, giving the connotation of drama and mystery by utilizing darkness. Here we have the pilots gambling, once again in Selfridge Field, Michigan in 1943. I love how Parks perfectly encapsulates the moment here with impeccable timing and space techniques at play. One thing you may note is the fact that many of Parks' photos feel like stills from a movie, which makes sense since he eventually went on to direct one of the best blaxploitation films of all time, Shaft. Color, lines, and visual hierarchy is beautifully on display in this image, simply titled Department Store, in Mobile, Alabama in 1956. Again, Parks captures the rich and damned history of the segregated American South, but does so with an elegance and tastefulness that depicts his subjects as something beyond fodder for film. Parks would shed light on his subjects with levity, while exposing the injustices that they faced. He similarly does so with Andrea Tanner and her grandmother window shopping in Mobile, Alabama in 1956, employing both visual and thematic contrasting techniques. Finally, I couldn't talk about Gordon Parks without showcasing his work that captures these two individuals that epitomize black excellence, Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X. What's so special about Parks, though, that I'll reiterate again, is the fact that he so creatively frames and captures his subjects. Keying in close to Ali drenched after a workout is the closest any spectator will ever get, as he employs such a great use of exposure to highlight the iconic fighter. And the humanity of a sleeping Malcolm X on full display is both heartwarming and breaking, knowing that the life of this civil rights icon would be taken less than 2 years later. Yet, he's both humanized and immortalized by Parks here. All of the art here and so much more is a testament to Gordon Parks' mission, which is laid out in the following quote. Gordon says, "I saw the camera could be a weapon against poverty, against racism, against all sorts of social wrongs. I knew that at that point, I had to have a camera." Thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you, Gordon Parks. Peace.